Well, hello everyone. This is Moving Mark with another one of my Route 66 Spotlight videos here. And I'm with one of my original people I looked up to back in my early times of Route 66. I worked with him on a few occasions out at the Painted Desert Trading Post. And as you can see, he probably needs no introductions, but I'm going to let him tell us a little bit about himself and what he's involved with, how he became involved with Route 66, and just coming from the heart with a little bit of information.
Thanks, Mark. Yeah, my name's Jim Ross. I've been involved with the highway for about 30 years now. Got involved way back 1990 when Michael Wallace's book came out, and I was living right near Route 66 at the time, and that whole thing just triggered memories for me from my childhood, going on 2-lane vacations with the family, and also the TV show Route 66 and things like that. So I thought, you know, I want to know more about this, and so I started exploring the highway, and one thing led to another, and here we are.
Are there any particular things that you remember specifically from your boyhood times as far as Route 66 that stick out that you've now correlated with Route 66 today?
Well, strangely enough, I didn't grow up on Route 66. I grew up in the deep south, but we always took a family vacation. This was in the 1950s when I was a boy. And I remember, you know, the diners with screen doors and the gas stations with nickel pop, and you had to leave a 2-cent deposit, and all of that whole roadside culture experience, you know, from the mid-century era, the glory years of the route, as they like to say. And so that really had an impact on me as a youngster growing up. And by the time I hit about 40 years old and this renaissance began, it just all came back, and I just felt a real identity with the route and what it stood for, and the whole thing about transportation in America and its history and roadside culture and the mid-century thing and all that stuff. So it just all gelled for me.
As far as Route 66, you're pretty famous across the route. You're very accomplished in a lot of respects and very well known. What are some of your accomplishments that you've done, and a little bit about your backstory as far as things that you've done for the route?
Well, it all just kind of happened without a real plan for me. I started out, I wrote the first guidebook to the route in Oklahoma back in 1992, mainly because I wanted to know where it was. And that led to a collaboration with Jerry McClanahan on the Route 66 map series. And then since then, there have been many other things. I've been involved in preservation. I've authored or co-authored about 10 books, and I've traveled the road a lot. I've specialized pretty much in the cartography of the road, all the different alignments and that kind of thing, and the general history of the road. And I love every aspect of it, and so I have kind of made it my business to expand my knowledge base to whatever extent is there.
If you had two books or two items or products that you've produced in your career, there would be your top 2 recommendations, what would those be?
Well, that's a little tough, but I would say, as far as books, the 2 books that I'm most proud of are Route 66 Sightings, which I co-authored with Jerry McClanahan and my wife, Shelley Graham, and Route 66 Crossings, my book on the historic bridges of the route. And I'm really proud of both of those. I think they will stand the test of time.
The Route 66 Sightings is a book I definitely need to get myself. As far as the things that you see changing in Route 66, how can we keep Route 66 moving forward and keep it alive for the new visitors that may watch this particular video and the new travelers traveling Route 66?
Yeah, well, that's a tough question, but I really think the answer is not a simple answer. We have to get today's youth involved. We have to bring on the youngsters. We have to make them understand the value and the significance of the road and its history, so that they will, carry on. That's a big part of it. And I think there's still a lot to be done in terms of awareness, especially within state departments of transportation, tourism bureaus. They're really getting on board a lot more. But the good news is that the route has really achieved a place, a permanent place in our cultural history. It's now regarded the same as you would a national park. And that's a great thing. That alone is going to ensure its presence and its viability. And it's just up to the rest of us to make the best of it.
Well, you're sitting in Arcadia, Oklahoma, and there's two prime examples I like to use when I'm talking about the old 66 and the new 66 and them jiving and working together. And that's the 100-plus-year-old round red barn. And you got Pops up the street, which is a new iteration or new gyration of a 66 icon, and you've got it a block or so down the road, you got a 100-year-old icon on Route 66. How can we make sure that we continue that process to keep 66 alive, of having the old and the new come together and work together for the next generations of Route 66?
Well, I think one complements the other, and Arcadia is a great example. You've got the round barn, which had already become a worldwide known icon, and then Pops comes along right down the street, which Pops, in our book Sightings, we call Pops one of the new kids on the block. And the new kids on the block are really important to the whole thing, because these places that are designed to be a Route 66 tourist attraction, they really help the route. And so, using your example of Arcadia, Pops and the round barn complement each other. People come to Pops, and then they go down to the round barn, and vice versa. So it's really been a good thing for the route, and we've seen this happen in various places up and down the road.
Well, Jim, you've been involved in several preservation projects across Route 66. So do you have a couple that you'd like to mention that you've been involved with?
Well, I've always been kind of a grassroots preservationist. I'm not an organization guy. So it's been a situation where it's kind of like you see something that needs to happen, and you do what you can to help make it happen. Right. Probably, if I were to cite two examples, one would be work I've done to try and preserve historic bridges, and trying to make transportation departments aware of their significance and what they can do to leave these things in place. And we've had some success with that. You win some, you lose some, but that's been a real focus for me. And of course, the other one, as you're well aware, is our most recent project, which is the Painted Desert Trading Post in Arizona, and that's just been an absolute joy to work on and be involved with. And the support we've had from the Route 66 community on that has just been absolutely phenomenal. People have given their money, they've given their time, they've given their support. It's just been a remarkable experience, and lucky for us, we've been very successful in the work we've done out there, and we're very proud of it.
Well, you mentioned the Painted Desert Trading Post. There's a common term that I hear used across Route 66 is quote-unquote the Holy Grail. Would you like to explain that in your
well,
way?
I don't have a problem with that term, although I think it might be a little strong. I prefer to think of the Painted Desert Trading Post as one of the crown jewels. Okay. I don't want to claim that it's the top thing out there, but I'm okay with other people saying that. I think that the trading post, the allure and the appeal and the affection for that landmark is rooted in several things. One is the desolation and the isolation of the site. The fact that it's behind a fence, it's not easy to get to, that it's on the first paved alignment that still runs through there. The fact that it's on the dead river with a great historic bridge right next to it. The fact that it's 5 miles from the Petrified Forest National Park. And the fact that it was never repurposed. It's in its original state from its abandonment almost 60 years ago. And all of these things create a tremendous draw, and they just tug at something inside somebody, and just makes them want to go there and just hang out, you know.
Yeah, I know it's tugged on my heartstrings, and it's a place I consider a spiritual place for me along the route. It's got a
indeed.
It's got something that so far no other place has come close to connecting with my heart, with the exception of maybe the Gasconade River Bridge. That to me is special country and special area. As far as ways that people can get a hold of the publications you've done, the books and the map series that you've co-authored with Jerry on, how's the best way to get a hold of that information? How to contact you? Or
yeah, there's a couple of ways. Most of the publications are available on Amazon.com. You could do a search under my name as author and find them that way if you don't know the titles. Also, I distribute most of the stuff myself. You can go to www.ghosttownpress.com, and there's a product page there so that you can order things there if you like. And they're available in gift shops up and down the route as well.
Well, fantastic. If someone wanted to support the efforts at the trading post, how's the best way to go about doing that?
Glad you asked. If you wish to support with donations the effort at the Painted Desert Trading Post, you simply go do a Facebook search for Route 66 Painted Desert Trading Post. And there's a public page there. We have almost 1,200 members now. And there's instructions there on how you can donate, how you can be involved, how you can pay a visit to the trading post.
And that's the key, is there is a method by which you pay a visit to the trading post. Any final parting words you'd like to give the viewing audience, whether it's old audience or maybe specifically more of a newer audience traveling Route 66? Any final parting words?
I would just say travel the route as often as you can. Respect the remains that are out there and enjoy yourself more than anything.
I will tell you this, he says enjoy yourself, and that's what I've done. It's absolutely a major love of mine. And the thing that Route 66 just quickly has done for me is introduce me to people like Mr. Jim Ross here, that is absolutely one of my top friends on Route 66, and I'm honored to know and blessed to know. And for now, we're going to call this a wrap, and I'm going to say thank you so much for tuning in. This is Moving Mark signing off for the day. Everyone have a great day. Bye-bye now.